Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to be talking about online learning because of the coronavirus situation and the widespread of the virus. Many schools and educational institutions are going and moving towards online learning. So if you would like to hear my thoughts about online learning and recommendations, then please keep on watching. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell as well so that you can hear when I release new videos. So I'm sure everybody's heard about the widespread coronavirus in the world at the moment, which started up in China, and as a result many schools and educational institutions in this area have closed schools for safety and health reasons until at least March, and some schools are closed indefinitely until the situation is better. So my heart really goes out to everyone that's affected by this virus, and I really hope that you stay safe and healthy, and that I hope that this virus is contained soon and that we have some resolution so that everybody can then go back to school and enjoy learning with their peers. So I'm going to share my humble opinion in terms of my recommendations on what online learning should look like. This is probably based on my graduate studies in terms of my master's and my doctorate on educational technology. So I've spent the last 6 years researching this area and really trying to look at effective methods that enhance learning. So probably my number one recommendation in terms of online learning is that if you're going to ask your students to meet you synchronously online and you're going to lecture for the whole time, say 45 minutes to 60 minutes, then my recommendation is don't do it. I think then if that's the approach that you're going to take, send them to Khan Academy, where I think Sal Khan does a wonderful job of explaining so many different mathematical concepts. So my first recommendation is that if you're going to ask your students to meet you online in a synchronous meeting, then don't lecture to them for 45 minutes. Okay, so what should online learning look like then? How should we really ensure that our students are still learning when they're not in the physical environment of the school? My suggestion really is to try to incorporate a blended environment, and that means a mixture of synchronous chats and asynchronous chats. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how we can do this so that the online synchronous times that you meet with your students is seen as valuable and it enhances their learning and it's not a waste of time. So as an example of how you could structure an online lesson where you meet your students at the same time, at the same probably class time that you had originally, is that, so let's say you use some kind of online platform or software, and I'll talk about my recommendations a little bit later in terms of online platforms and software that really help students to still be able to collaborate and discuss in an online environment. So what you could do is, let's say you ask all your students to meet at the time that you normally would have class. You can actually use different online platforms to create different breakout groups. So you meet them on Monday morning at 9 a.m. and you say, good morning everyone, I have this investigation that I'd like you to work through. I'm going to let you either choose your groups or I'm going to allocate you into groups, and I'd like you to look at the questions that are posed in this investigation. I'd like you to collaborate and discuss a possible solution or different ways of solving the investigation, and then I'm going to ask you to feed back in about 20 minutes. So in a lot of online platforms you can create different breakout rooms. You can either give students the choice of which group they want to work with, or you can allocate the groups for students if you think that's necessary, and they can be actually in these breakout rooms in a synchronous meeting, and you can dip in and out just to check the conversations, to check whether they need any teacher guidance, and they can actually ask for teacher guidance at any time as well while they're in these breakout rooms. So once they've completed the activity, maybe groups will be finished at different times. The next stage would be really to ask students to articulate their understanding of that investigation and what the purpose of that investigation is. And I actually recommend that you ask each student to articulate their understanding This could be in the form of a Flipgrid, which I think is a wonderful tool because students nowadays are a lot more comfortable with recording their ideas and their thinking in terms of a video and an interactive video, and then you can ask students to comment back and video comments back to them. Or if you don't want to use the video medium, you could always use a Padlet wall to ask students to then contribute to their thinking. So you could also use the visible thinking routines from Project Zero, Harvard University, to help students frame their thinking and structure how they're going to communicate their conceptual understanding from the investigation. Now, alternatively, you could actually give the investigation before the class, and then when you meet up synchronously in the class, you can assign the different groups or ask students to volunteer for different groups, and they can actually have a discussion about how they worked through that investigation and their aha moments. I think it's very important to stress that when you are going to meet your students online, make sure that they have takeaways, make sure that it's enhanced their learning, and make sure that the actual attendance was very valuable, so that if a student watched back this video, they actually would have missed out by not attending the actual class. Now, Zoom is not the only platform, but it's the one that I've been using for the last few years. My dear friend Daniela told me about another online platform that was especially designed for teachers and students, and it's called a Big Blue Button. Now, I had an initial look at it and I see that the functionalities look absolutely amazing. Big bonuses is that it's open source and web-based, so it's going to be free for everyone to use, and it looks like it's been specially designed for students and for teachers. Now, I would love to hear any of the suggestions that you have under the circumstances with the widespread of coronavirus. It really has meant that a lot of schools have to go online because we don't want students to stop learning. So if you've got any suggestions, please put a comment in the section below. And thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe and see you next time. Bye.